Picture this. You're standing in the middle of a crowded street. Cars honk, people shout, music blares from a nearby shop. Someone bumps into you without saying sorry. Your phone vibrates with 3 messages, 2 emails, and a breaking news alert about something catastrophic happening on the other side of the world. Your breathing quickens, your shoulders tense. You can feel your mind start to spin. This is life in the modern age, an endless assault on your attention, your energy, and your peace. The storms are not occasional, they are constant, and the more you try to escape them, the more they seem to find you. Now, imagine the same street, the same noise, the same chaos, but this time, you're different. Your breathing is slow, your shoulders are relaxed. You see the people rushing, the news alerts flashing, the traffic crawling, and you remain steady. It is as if a silent bubble surrounds you, keeping you calm no matter what's happening around you. This is not fantasy. It's not a gift for the lucky few. It is a skill, a discipline, a philosophy. The Stoics called it living in agreement with nature, seeing the world as it is, not as you wish it to be, and remaining unshaken by the things beyond your control. Marcus Aurelius, who led the Roman Empire through wars, plagues, and political betrayal, knew this reality better than anyone. He wrote in his private journal, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." And before we go deeper, if you believe the world is loud, distracting, and overwhelming, but you want to learn how to stay calm, steady, and unshaken, you are in the right place. Welcome to Stoicism Mastermind. Here, we explore ancient wisdom for modern chaos. So if you want more calm and control in your life, tap subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who could use more peace in their day. Because today, we're uncovering the Stoic secret to staying calm in chaos. The storm will always rage, but you can be the calm within it. To understand how to stay calm in the storm, we must first understand why the storm shakes us. After all, it's not just the events of life that overwhelm us. It's our relationship to those events. Think about it. 2 people can experience the exact same situation, and yet their reactions are completely different. One person panics, yells, and loses all control. The other takes a deep breath, assesses the situation, and acts with clarity. The same storm, 2 different responses. Reason 1, the brain's ancient wiring. We carry inside our heads a brain that evolved in a world far different from the one we live in today. Our ancestors lived in small tribes, surrounded by nature, facing the occasional danger of predators or rival groups. Back then, sudden noises or unexpected events were often signs of life or death threats. The brain learned to react quickly, triggering the fight or flight response. But now, that same ancient wiring reacts to an email notification as if it were a lion's roar. The problem is not the email. It's that our nervous system treats it as if our survival is at stake. Reason 2, the illusion of control. We believe, often unconsciously, that we can and should control everything in our lives. When the weather changes unexpectedly, when someone is rude to us, when traffic delays our plans, our frustration comes from the belief that life should have gone our way. The Stoics remind us, very little is within our control. And the more we resist this truth, the more chaos feels personal and unfair. Reason 3, information overload. The human mind can only process so much at once. In the ancient world, the information you needed to survive was mostly local and immediate. The seasons, the behavior of animals, the health of your tribe. Today, we are flooded with a relentless stream of headlines, social media posts, messages, advertisements, and updates. We carry the world's noise in our pockets. and we rarely put it down. Epictetus once said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." In other words, the chaos outside is not the real problem. It is the chaos inside, our thoughts, our expectations, our fears, that makes us feel overwhelmed. The heart of Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or pretending life's challenges don't exist. It's about mastering the inner lens through which you see the world. Change the lens, and the world changes with it. The single most important mindset shift in Stoicism is this: focus only on what you can control, release everything else. This idea is simple, almost deceptively so. Yet if you truly lived it every day, your stress and anxiety would shrink dramatically. Marcus Aurelius, writing in his Meditations, constantly reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoics drew a sharp line between two categories of life: things within your control, your thoughts, your actions, your choices, your values. Things outside your control, other people's opinions, the weather, the economy, the past, and the ultimate outcome of events. Our modern frustration comes from blurring these categories. We spend mental energy trying to rewrite the past, change someone's personality, or predict an uncertain future. The Stoics would say, that energy is being wasted. Redirect it toward what you can actually influence. When you release your tight grip on what you cannot control, you experience a kind of freedom most people never taste. It's the freedom of not carrying unnecessary weight. Imagine walking through life with a backpack filled with heavy stones, each stone representing something outside your control: a stranger's rude comment, the news cycle's endless outrage, your friend's choice you disagree with, a business opportunity you lost. Most people carry these stones everywhere. Stoicism invites you to set them down. Epictetus described the mind as a fortress, an inner citadel that no one can breach without your consent. When you protect this inner citadel by focusing only on what you control, you become unshakable. Even if the world collapses around you, the core of your peace remains untouched. Knowing Stoic philosophy is one thing. Living it, moment to moment, is another. If you want to be truly unshakable, you can't just read Marcus Aurelius once and call it a day. You must train your mind the way an athlete trains their body, consistently, deliberately, and with intention. Here are the core daily practices the Stoics themselves used to build mental resilience. Morning reflection, Marcus Aurelius style. Before you even check your phone, sit quietly for a few minutes. Ask yourself, what kind of day do I intend to have? What challenges might I face, and how will I respond? How can I act with virtue today? Wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings by mentally preparing for the inevitable frustrations ahead. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. Yet I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own. Negative visualization, the antidote to entitlement. At first, this practice sounds depressing, but it's one of the Stoics' most powerful tools for gratitude. Once a day, briefly imagine losing something you love: your health, your home, your ability to speak, a person dear to you. You don't dwell on it with fear. You use it to deepen appreciation. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand." This mental exercise reminds you that nothing is guaranteed, making you less likely to take blessings for granted. The control check. Whenever you feel frustration rising, pause and ask, is this within my control or not? If it's outside your control, you let it go. If it's within your control, you take calm, deliberate action. This single habit is the backbone of Stoic peace. Evening journaling, Seneca's self-examination. Every night before bed, review your day. What did I do well? Where did I lose my temper or act unwisely? How can I do better tomorrow? Seneca wrote that each night he would question his actions like a judge questioning a witness. This self-honesty builds discipline and clarity over time. Voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed in preparing for hardship before it arrived. This might mean taking a cold shower, fasting for a day, sleeping on the floor instead of the bed. By occasionally stepping into discomfort on purpose, you prove to yourself that you can survive without luxuries. And fear of loss loses its grip on you. When life tests you, it doesn't send you a polite calendar invite. It comes without warning. A phone call, a diagnosis, a betrayal, a sudden loss. Your heart drops, your mind races, and in that instant, you face a choice. Will you react blindly, or will you respond with Stoic clarity? The Stoics didn't believe in denying pain. They felt it, they grieved, but they refused to let pain dictate their character. Pause before you move. In the shock of bad news, your emotions surge like a flood. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them, and it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." Before you speak, decide, or lash out. Pause. Breathe deeply. Buy yourself space between stimulus and response. That small gap is where Stoic strength lives. Name the situation. Honestly, instead of saying, "This is the end," or "I can't handle this," say, "This is difficult, this is unexpected, but it is happening." Seneca reminded us that nothing is helped by lying to ourselves about reality. Acceptance doesn't mean approval. It means refusing to waste energy, resisting what already is. Ask the core Stoic question when trouble strikes. Ask, what is mine to control here? Maybe you can't undo the event, but you can control how you speak, how you carry yourself, what values you stand by. The first small action you take next. Even in disaster, there is always something you control, even if it's just your own composure. Shift the frame. From suffering to training. Epictetus told his students, "Difficulties show a man what he is." When life hits you, imagine it's the universe giving you a test, not to punish you, but to train you. The question becomes, how can I emerge stronger from this? This reframing doesn't erase the pain, but it transforms your role from victim to active participant. Use the power of not yet. When you feel overwhelmed, it's easy to say, "I can't go on." The Stoics would suggest replacing that with, "I can't go on, not yet." This subtle change keeps the door open for resilience. It tells your mind, "I'm not finished, I'm just not ready in this moment." Anchor yourself in your principles. In chaos, you will be tempted to compromise your values. Don't. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the true harm is not what happens to you, but what you do to yourself through dishonor. Ask, if someone were watching my life as an example, what would I want them to see? Holding on feels safe. We cling to grudges, old stories, past mistakes, and the people we wish had treated us differently. We think we're protecting ourselves, but in reality, we're keeping the wound open. The Stoics knew that true freedom often begins with release. Not release in the sense of forgetting, but in unshackling yourself from the emotional chains of what you cannot change. Understand why we hold on. We hold on because we think the past defines us. We believe the person who wronged us owes us something. We fear that letting go means saying, "It didn't matter." But Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. Letting go is not saying it didn't matter. It's saying it will not control me anymore. Separate the event from the story. An event is something that happened. The story is the meaning you've been telling yourself about it ever since. Epictetus would challenge you, what happened is not the problem. The problem is your opinion about what happened. By separating fact from interpretation, you loosen the grip of pain. Practice the release breath. A simple Stoic exercise. Inhale deeply, picturing the pain, resentment, or fear. Hold it for a few seconds. Exhale slowly, imagining it leaving your body like smoke. You won't erase the memory, but you'll train your body to associate letting go with relief, not loss. Replace why me with what now. Why me traps you in the past. What now points you to action in the present. Seneca put it plainly, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Every time the past pulls at you, redirect to the present moment. It's the only ground you actually control. Turn the pain into a lesson. If you must carry something from the past, carry wisdom. Ask, what did this teach me about people, about myself, about what truly matters? The Stoics believed pain without purpose is wasted. When you extract the lesson, you reclaim the power. Accept that some chapters stay unfinished. The Stoics didn't demand closure. They knew that some doors remain half open, some questions unanswered. Your task is not to tie every knot, but to move forward with dignity. Calm isn't something you stumble upon. It's built day by day, choice by choice, like laying stones for a fortress. The Stoics didn't wait for peace to appear. They engineered it into their lives. If you want to be calm when the storm hits, you have to build the habits before the storm arrives. Morning reflection. Setting the inner tone. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings by reminding himself of three things. People today may be rude, selfish, or ignorant. That's their nature, not a personal attack. His duty was to remain virtuous, regardless of what others did. You can start your day in the same way. Sit quietly for 5 minutes before looking at your phone. Picture the challenges you might face today. Decide in advance how you will respond. With patience, with reason, with dignity. This way, the day doesn't decide your mood. You do. Voluntary discomfort. Training for the unexpected. Seneca practiced voluntary discomfort to prepare for hardship. He would wear rough clothes, eat plain food, and remind himself, is this what I feared? Try this once a week. Skip a luxury you normally enjoy. Coffee, a warm shower, your favorite snack. Walk instead of drive. Sleep without air conditioning for a night. The point isn't to suffer. It's to remind yourself that you can endure discomfort without breaking. When life surprises you with loss or challenge, you'll already know. I've trained for this. Midday check-in, guarding the mind. The Stoics believed your mind was like a fortress, but only if you guarded the gates. Halfway through your day, pause and ask, am I reacting automatically or with intention? Am I letting small annoyances dictate my emotions? What am I giving my attention to? And is it worth my peace? This habit stops the emotional drift that pulls you away from your values. Evening review, learning from the day. Epictetus advised reviewing your day every night. Where did I act well? Where did I fall short? How can I improve tomorrow? Don't use this as a tool for self-punishment. Use it as a compass for growth. The Stoics understood that self-awareness was a form of self-defense. Mind diet, choosing mental fuel. Just as bad food makes the body sick, bad information makes the mind restless. Marcus Aurelius didn't scroll through endless outrage and gossip, and neither should you. Limit news cycles designed to provoke fear, social media that breeds comparison, conversations that feed resentment. Replace with books that sharpen wisdom, discussions that challenge your thinking, stories that inspire courage. Physical stillness, calming the body to calm the mind. The Stoics were not just philosophers. They understood the link between the body and the mind. Slow breathing, walking in nature, or sitting quietly in a park can reduce mental turbulence. Control the body, and the mind often follows. Gratitude practice. Anchoring in enough. Seneca warned against chasing endlessly after what you lack. He who is not content with what he has will not be content with what he would like to have. Every night, list 3 things you're grateful for, however small. Gratitude is not ignoring life's problems. It's remembering that life is not only problems. Life will test you. Someone will insult you, cut you off in traffic, ignore your message, or betray your trust. The question is not if this will happen, it's how you will respond. The Stoics understood that emotional reactivity is the greatest thief of peace. When you react impulsively, you hand over control of your mind to the very thing you dislike. When you respond intentionally, you remain the master of your inner world. The gap between stimulus and response, Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the essence of the Stoic method. Between what happens and what you do about it, there's a gap. In that gap, you can pause, breathe, ask, what would a wise person do right now? This tiny pause is like a shield. It keeps you from being swept away by the first emotional wave. The 3-second rule of calm. Before you reply, before you post, before you shout, count to 3 in your mind. Use those seconds to remember, anger feels powerful, but it rarely helps. Silence is often more eloquent than shouting. Your goal is clarity, not revenge. The Stoics weren't cold, they were strategic. They knew an unguarded word could start a war, while a measured response could save an alliance. Separate facts from interpretations. When something upsetting happens, the Stoics taught that there are 2 layers: the event itself, the story you tell yourself about it. Example: event, your friend cancels plans. Story, they don't value me, I'm not important. The Stoic approach: strip away the story and see the bare fact. A meeting was cancelled. From there, you can decide calmly how to proceed, without the weight of imagined insults. Choose principle over impulse. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." In moments of conflict, let your values speak louder than your emotions. Ask yourself, does my reaction serve justice, courage, or wisdom? Will I be proud of this choice tomorrow? A reaction is temporary. A principle lasts a lifetime. Mastering the view from above. This mental exercise shifts you out of emotional tunnel vision. Imagine rising above your life like a bird seeing the city below. Picture your problem as a tiny moment in a vast web of time and space. From this view, your anger feels smaller. Your patience feels greater. When you zoom out, you remember, this moment is not the whole story. The Stoic silence. Not every provocation deserves an answer. Sometimes the most powerful move is to say nothing. Silence protects your energy, your dignity, and your time. As the Stoics might say, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Respond with purpose. When you do speak or act, do it with intention. To clarify, not to attack. To resolve, not to escalate. To protect your peace, not to feed your ego. The Stoic doesn't ignore problems, they address them without letting the problem take over their mind. A strong body can withstand a storm. A strong mind can withstand life. The Stoics knew that mental strength doesn't appear when you need it. It's built every day, like a muscle. They trained their minds so that when life tested them, they wouldn't crumble. Seneca advised, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest fare and with rough clothing," saying to yourself, "Is this the condition I feared?" Why? Because comfort makes you fragile. If you only live in ease, the smallest hardship feels unbearable. The Stoic method is to taste discomfort before it's forced upon you. Sleep without a pillow. Skip a luxury for a week. Eat simple food. By doing this, you prove to yourself, "I can live with less and still be whole." Marcus Aurelius began and ended his days with reflection. Morning, he reminded himself that people would test his patience and that this was part of life. Evening, he reviewed his actions, asking, "Did I live by my values? Did I let anger or fear control me? What will I improve tomorrow?" This daily mental audit keeps you aligned, calm, and self-aware. Life is unpredictable. If you train for difficulty, real challenges won't surprise you. You can walk in the rain without complaining, choose stairs over elevators, work without background music. These small acts of controlled difficulty build the mental toughness to face bigger storms. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality. The Stoics constantly questioned their own thinking. Is this thought helping me? Is this fear real or imagined? When you notice a negative thought, don't wrestle with it. Replace it. Swap "this is unfair" with "this is my training ground." The Stoics practiced memento mori, remembering that life is short. This wasn't meant to make them gloomy. It was meant to sharpen their focus on what truly matters. When you remember that your time is limited, petty arguments lose their power. Gratitude becomes easier. You stop postponing what matters most. Even the strongest minds need allies. The Stoics surrounded themselves with people who uplifted them and challenged them to grow. Ask yourself, do the people around me make me calmer, wiser, and stronger? Or do they pull me into gossip, anger, and fear? Your environment is either a gym for your mind or a trap for it. The Stoics didn't just survive hardships, they used them. When something goes wrong, ask, what skill can I develop from this? What character trait is being tested here? If you see every obstacle as a lesson, nothing can truly defeat you. Many think Stoicism is about shutting down emotions. In reality, it's about clearing away the mental clutter that stops you from feeling the right emotions, the ones that make life truly rich. The Stoics didn't aim for a dull, emotionless existence. They aimed for a steady, joyful heart that no storm could steal. Epictetus taught, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Joy, in the Stoic sense, isn't excitement over a new gadget or praise from others. It's the deep satisfaction of knowing you're living in alignment with your values. You can start cultivating it by asking daily, did I live honestly today? Did I keep my self-respect? Did I help someone else? When the answer is yes, joy follows, without needing outside approval. Gratitude wasn't just a nice feeling for the Stoics. It was a discipline. Marcus Aurelius filled his writings with reminders of what he had been given, the mentors who guided him, the beauty of nature, the chance to improve himself each day. Try this. Every morning, list 3 specific things you're grateful for. Not vague ideas, specific details. The sound of rain while I drank tea. The kindness of the cashier today. My legs carried me on my walk. The more specific you are, the more gratitude rewires your mind toward joy. The Stoics believed life's treasures are often small and easily overlooked. Seneca wrote about enjoying simple meals, friendly conversations, and the warmth of the sun. These weren't fillers between big events. They were the substance of life. Slow down enough to taste your food, notice the light in the room, or feel the air in your lungs. Joy hides in plain sight. This was one of the most powerful Stoic ideas. Don't just accept what happens, love it. If life hands you a challenge, see it as a piece of your unique story. If plans change, believe that the new path might lead to something even better. This doesn't mean pretending pain is pleasant. It means trusting that, in the bigger picture, everything can be used for growth. For the Stoics, a good life wasn't just about personal peace. It was about contribution. Give kindness, advice, help, or encouragement without expecting anything in return. When your joy comes from giving, no one can take it from you. Freedom, in the Stoic sense, isn't about doing whatever you want. It's about wanting the right things and not being a slave to the wrong ones. The two levers of the soul Epictetus taught that two forces pull at every human being. Desire, what we want to gain. Aversion, what we want to avoid. Most people let these forces control them. They chase comfort, approval, wealth, and run from discomfort, criticism, loss. The Stoic flips the script. Desire only what is within your control. Avoid only what is within your control. Everything else? Let it come. Let it go. If your happiness depends on what you cannot control, you'll be a permanent hostage to markets, to moods, to other people's choices. But if your happiness depends only on your own actions, thoughts, and character, you can walk through life untouchable. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Seneca practiced voluntary discomfort, wearing plain clothes, eating simple food, sleeping on a hard bed for a few days, not because he enjoyed suffering, but because he wanted to teach his mind. I can live well without luxuries. They are nice, but they do not own me. You can try this in small ways. Skip unnecessary purchases for a week. Delay checking your phone when a notification pops up. Eat a humble meal and savor it. Each small act strengthens your ability to choose instead of react. Instead of fearing difficulty, Stoics leaned into it. They asked, "What is this moment training me for?" If someone insults you, it's a chance to practice patience. If plans fail, it's a chance to practice adaptability. If you lose something, it's a chance to practice letting go. This turns every hardship into a tool and robs fear of its power. Freedom equals self-mastery of desire, plus courage to face the uncontrollable. When you want less, fear less, and control your mind, you no longer live as a puppet pulled by the strings of circumstance. You live as the Stoics did, steady, clear, and free. You've just walked through the mindset, discipline, and daily blueprint that shaped some of history's strongest souls. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. But knowing is nothing without doing. The Stoics didn't wait for the right time to live by their principles. They practiced them now, in the marketplace, in the palace, on the battlefield, and even in exile. And so should you. Here's your challenge. Tomorrow morning, before the world demands a single thing from you, spend 5 minutes in silence. Review your values. Decide what kind of person you will be, and then be that person in every small choice you make. If this message resonated with you, then don't let it end here. Subscribe to Stoicism Mastermind, because here we go deeper than quotes. We explore the real, hard-earned wisdom that can transform your life. Like this video if you believe more people need to hear the voice of Stoicism in today's noisy world. Turn on the bell so you never miss the next lesson, because one day, one phrase, one insight might be the thing that changes your entire life. Remember, a calm mind is not given to you. It is built through discipline, reflection, and the courage to live according to your highest values. You have everything you need to start, and the best time to begin is now.